Welcome to Concussion Talk Podcast. My name is Nick Mercer. I write Concussion Talk, www.concussiontalk.com, which I've been writing since 2010. I have also written an ebook called Detour, a link to which you can find on the right side of the main Concussion Talk homepage. In these podcasts, I intend to interview doctors, physiotherapists, others in the medical field who work with brain injury and concussion, athletes, trainers, coaches, others in sports and athletics, such as Pilates and other exercise instructors, and community groups and organizations who deal with concussion and brain injury, as well as others. Brain injury is a serious matter, I know, and I will discuss my brain injury later. But I want it to be a subject about which we can talk with ease and have a genuine discussion. My brain injury occurred on August 1st, 2003 in Victoria, BC, where I was doing a Master's of Public Administration at the University of Victoria. I had gone for a ride that morning with 4 or 5 other people. It was depending on the day, and we had John, Don, and Alan and I would always go, and Tanya would sometimes go with us for the full ride or half of the ride. Anyway, we had that day there was forest fires at a nearby lake where we swam, and so our swim practice was canceled. But we decided to go for a ride later on that morning, as we normally would on Fridays, and we had to take another route because, of course, the forest fire cut off some of the areas we would cycle to. As I said, I don't remember the day at all, but we were going downhill, and either I was trying to turn right or I started to avoid someone, and I wiped out, hit a tree with my helmet, and head first. Luckily, there was a house across the street, which one of my friends ran to and called 911. Although another one gave me CPR or AR, I'm not sure which, or both. And luckily we were close to the hospital, so the ambulance was quick, and I was quickly in the emergency room. I was put in an induced coma for 2 weeks. My parents were called immediately, and my sister, and told to get to Victoria. They were in St. John's, Newfoundland, which is a 10-hour away by airplane. So it was a 4.5 hour time difference. So it's a far ways away. But they got up there, and I was in that coma for 2 weeks in ICU for I guess a month. August of 03 is a total wash. I have no idea what happened that month. And I was flown back home to St. John's in September, and I was there in hospital here for a month, in St. John's for a month, until I was put in the rehab hospital here a month later, when I was in rehab hospital for 5 months, from October of 2003 till March 1st or March 3rd of 2004. And I was doing daily physio, psychology, speech, OT, and I took my first steps in December of 2003, and used a walker, and I left rehab in just March 3rd of 2004. But when I left rehab, inpatient rehab, I went to outpatient rehab every day. Day hospital is called. So I went there from March of 04, until December of 04. Then I did outpatient before I could just go a few times a week. But still, I was using a walker, couldn't walk independently. Well, I could walk barely, and so I learned. So as I went through, I learned how to walk independently from the whole time. And then in 2005, so March of 04, December of 04, I was in outpatient rehab. Then it's January of 05 until September of 05, I was in outpatient rehab, and then I went in September '05. I went back to Victoria, BC to finish my master's degree, which I could have done by distance, but I wanted to go back and try it. That was tough. Lonely, like my triathlon crowd that I was training with when I was injured. They were a great help, and I swam with them not every but every week. But those tough times. I couldn't get around the campus much. Had to live in residence in a special residence room, and so I went back for Victoria, finished my masters, and then the next year in '07. So I finished my masters in '05 to '06. Finished my masters in July of defended July of '06. Then in February of '07, I found a job in Ottawa, Ontario, and moved there. Worked there for 3 years, and moved back home in April 2010. I've since been doing a lot of swimming, Pilates, walking as much as I can. I'm now actually a walk a fair bit. I walk a lot, and I've been doing Pilates since 2012, so just 3 years now. But I love it, and I do it all the time, and it's helped me a lot with the movement. But as you can hear, my speech is still an issue, and I do get tired. I get dizzy, nauseous, that's another thing. But that's because actually of I have double vision, which I've had since my accident. So it's really reading it was very difficult. Now I read a lot, and I still have double vision. I've had 3 surgeries on my eyes, but I don't really want to have a fourth because just so on the booking around my eyes for 4 times. But and I learned to live with it, and I've learned to live with it. It's fine, not fine, but it's workable. And so the double vision causes dizziness. I can't if I turn my head quickly, or I'm not sure if it's double vision or if it's just my head, but I turn my head even not really quickly, but just quickly, I get dizzy and not nauseous, but just I need to sit down. I can't, and my balance is obviously affected by my whole left side is weak and uncoordinated, and I think it has a lot to do with my double vision. So basically, my issues are double vision, left side weakness, my speech, and fatigue, and those are the tough ones that I deal with every day. So that's a very brief account of what my situation is like. Again, for this podcast, I would like to, like I said, to talk to doctors, physiotherapists, and others. And so for my next podcast, I'll actually be talking to a good friend of mine from university who is now a doctor, Dr. Christian Goulet. He works in a concussion clinic for CHEO, Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario in Ottawa. And I will talk to him about concussions and what he sees as the big problems, and what he's done a lot of research too. So what he has found. So that's my introductory podcast. It's fairly short this time, but hopefully in future it'll be longer with guests. And in future podcasts, I'll hopefully be joined as co-host by Matt Eagles and Justin Murphy from MUN, which is Memorial University of Newfoundland, MUN Med School, and they've set up an interest group for concussions called Concussion U. So please check out my website, www.concussiontalk.com, my Twitter @concussiontalk, and Concussion Talk on Facebook. Recently, some people have written articles for me from my website. I would like to thank them now. Those people are Ashley, George, Ryan, Yuri, Tim, and Christine. So thank you guys for writing on my blog. And if anyone else would like to write on my blog, please check it out on Facebook or on Twitter, as I said, or check the site and email me at concussiontalk@gmail.com. The introduction music is from Ben Sound, www.bensound.com. Thank you so much for listening to Concussion Talk Podcast. Until next time.